Hearty welcome to EPG Pathshala course on research methodology. I am Dr. K. Ramya, Assistant Professor from Avnashlingam School of Management Technology, Avnashlingam Institute for Home Science and Higher Education for Women, Coimbatore. In this module, we will discuss on test of significance for small sample. Introduction. We all know that hypothesis is a tentative statement made by the researcher and it has to be verified. We generally frame hypotheses or assumptions about the characteristics of the population and test the same with sample values using various statistical techniques. Upon framing the hypothesis, the researcher has to perform test of significance in order to accept or reject it. Hypothesis is generally tested at certain level of significance, say 1%, 5% and 10% level. The level of significance, denoted as alpha, represents the probability of error or chances of making wrong decisions. It also represents to which extent errors or wrong decisions can be accepted in research. The significance level is opposite to confidence level, which represents the chances or proportion of right decisions. Significance level of 1% means the chance of making wrong decisions by the researcher is 1 out of 100 times, which is very minimal. The smaller the significance level, the lesser would type 1 error be, that is rejecting the null hypothesis when it is true, and there will be more chances of type 2 error, that is failing to reject the null when it is false. To assess the statistical significance, we need to examine the test p-value. If the p-value is less than a specified significance level, usually 10%, 5% or 1%, we can declare the difference to be statistically significant and reject the test null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is the assumption that we want to reject, and alternate hypothesis will be accepted on rejection of null hypothesis. Having understood about significance and confidence level and its inference, we will now move on to the test of significance for small sample test. Small sample in research parlance means a size less than 30. Anything above 30 is considered to be small sample size. In case of small sample size, the normality will not be normally met. Instead, we can use t-distribution. And if the sample size is less than 30 and if the populations are normal, then you can also go in for f-distribution. However, the t-distribution is quite robust and small deviations from normality in the population will not invalidate it. Now, following are the sample size guidelines for t-test. If it is one sample t-test, it is better to have a sample size of greater than 20. And for two sample t-tests, each group should be greater than 15. And for one-way ANOVA, if you have 2 to 9 groups, then each group should have sample size greater than 15. And if you have 10 to 12 groups, each group should be greater than 20. The following tests are used when n is less than or equal to 30. One sample t-test, independent sample t-test, paired sample t-test, one-way ANOVA and correlation coefficient. Now let us discuss the t-test one by one. Moving on to one sample t-test. It is used to compare sample mean to a known population mean. In other words, it is used to test whether the mean of a single variable differs from a specified constant, that is also known as hypothesized value. The hypothesized value represents the characteristics of the population, say mean of the population. Formula for one sample t-test is given below, whereas x is equal to sample mean and mu is hypothesized population mean, and capital S, it is sample of standard deviation, and n is the sample size. And you can see the examples for one sample t-test, that is if a researcher is interested to test whether the average IQ scores for a group of students differs from 100. Here the IQ score of the student is the variable and the hypothesized test value is equal to 100. Another example, a cereal manufacturer can take a sample of boxes from the production line and check whether the mean weight of the sample differs from 1.3 pounds at the 95% confidence level. Here the weight of the boxes is the variable and the hypothesized test value. The conditions or assumptions to be met to use one sample t-test is the data must be reasonably normally distributed, and the data required is the numeric data for the variable to be tested and a hypothesized test value. Procedure for using SPSS. From the menus, choose Analyze, go to Compare Means, one sample t-test. select one or more numeric variables to be tested against the same value. Then enter a numeric test or a hypothesized value against which each sample mean is compared. Then choose 95% confidence interval from the options. Then click OK. Now we will move on to using one sample t-test using SPSS with an example. An employer wants to check if the attitude of the employees towards the company is equal to 3 on a 5-point rating scale. We will use one sample t-test to determine whether or not the mean attitude score of the employees significantly differ from 3. Here, the attitude of the employees is the test variable and the hypothesized test value is equal to 3. Let us set the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis as given below. The null hypothesis is mean scores of employee attitude is not equal to 3, whereas the alternative is mean scores of employee attitude is equal to 3. The data sheet given below consists of responses of 20 respondents. The data includes name, age, gender, experience, attitude towards the company, preference to training program, before and after the training, job satisfaction, output produced by the employees in units. So the table given below represents that. We can move further. Let us now see the same thing using SPSS. We'll use the sample file dataset for small sample test.sav, which includes the data which was discussed above. After that, from the menus, choose Analyze, go to Compare Means, one sample t-test. Now move Attitude to the test variable dialog box on the right side and give test value as 3. And then click Options and check if the confidence interval is 95%. By default, it is 95%, but if required, you can change to 90% or 99%. After checking the confidence interval, click Continue and click OK in the one sample t-test dialog box. The result will be displayed in the output screen of SPSS, which is as follows. Now the results and inference. The descriptive tables displays the sample size, mean, standard deviation and standard error for attitude. The sample means disperse around the hypothesized value of 3 and it appears to be a small amount of variation. To check if the variation is statistically significant, we need to check the test statistic table which appears below the descriptive table in the output. The T column displays the observed T statistics calculated as the ratio of the mean difference divided by the standard error of the sample mean. The DF column, that is degrees of freedom column, displays, in this case, this equals the number of cases in each group minus 1, that is 20 minus 1, 19 degrees of freedom. The column label significance to tail displays a probability from the T distribution with 19 degrees of freedom. The value listed is the probability of obtaining an absolute value greater than or equal to observed T statistics. If the difference between the sample mean and the test value is purely random, that is P is equal to 0.058. The mean difference is obtained by subtracting the test value 3 in this sample, and from sample mean 3.45 minus 3, that is 0.45. The 95% confidence interval of the difference provides an estimate of the boundaries between which the true mean difference lies in 95% of all the possible random sample of attitude of 20 employees. Since their confidence interval lie entirely above 0.0, you can safely say that attitude of employees are significantly greater than 3 on an average. Therefore, as the significant value, that is P, is greater than 0.05, we can accept null hypothesis and conclude that mean scores of employee attitude is not equal to 3. Now let's move on to independent sample t-test. This test is used to compare the means of two independent or unrelated groups drawn from the same population in order to check whether there is significantly difference between two groups. This test is referred by various names such as independent t-test, independent two sample t-test, student t-test, unrelated scores t-test, unpaired test, and so on. The formula for the t-test, independent sample t-test, is given below. And for example, if you are trying to understand if the salary of the shop floor workers are different based on gender, we have to use independent sample t-test. Here, the dependent variable is salary and the grouping variable is gender, which has got two groups, male and female. To understand another example, to understand if monthly expenditure of individuals differs based on marital status. Here, dependent variable is monthly expenditure and grouping variable is marital status, which is two groups again, marriage and single. The conditions or assumptions to be met for independent sample t-test are data must be reasonably normally distributed and there should be only two groups. The group should be independent, that is subject of one group cannot belong to other group, and the dependent variable to be in continuous form, that is either interval or ratio, and the independent variable, that is the grouping variable, should be a categorical one, and there should not be any outliers or extreme values. Now preferable conditions are that each group should have at least 6 cases and the number of observations in each group should be roughly balanced. The data required is the data of dependent or the test variable in continuous form and the data of independent variable which is in categorical form. Now the procedure for doing this t-test, independent sample t-test using SPSS is, you have to go to, from the menus you have to go to analyze, compare means, independent sample t-test, and then select one or more scale numeric variable to be tested, and then enter the categorical variable and a grouping variable for which the means are to be compared, and choose 95% confidence interval from the options and click OK. Now let us practically do this. The example taken for this is, we need to check if there is any significant difference in mean scores of attitude of two groups, that is male and female. The research question for this is, do male and female differ in their attitude towards a company? The null hypothesis is, there is no significant difference in attitude based on gender, wherein the alternative is, there is significant difference in attitude based on gender. Let us use the same sample file, data set for small sample test.sab. Go to analyze, compare means, independent sample t-test. Then move attitude to the test variable in the dialog box and move gender into the grouping variable. You can see grouping variable prompting to define the groups, gender with 2 question marks. We get this because we have coded the grouping variable. On seeing this, click on define groups. Now, in the define groups dialog box, give the coding used for 2 groups. In this example, we have coded 1 for male and 2 for female. So I give group 1 as 1 and group 2, 2. Then click options and give 95% in the confidence interval percentage. After that, click continue and click OK in the independent sample t-test dialog box. The result will be displayed in the output screen of SPSS, which is as follows. Now moving to the results and inference, the descriptive table displays the sample size, mean, standard deviation and standard error for attitude of male and female. The mean of male, that is greater than mean of female. Though there is difference in mean scores of 2 groups, we need to check if they are statistically significant. If F statistics as per Levin's test for equality of variance is significant, then you can consider T statistics for equal variance not assumed. If F statistics is insignificant, then you can consider T statistics for equal variance assumed. In the output, we can see F value of 0.258 is insignificant. Therefore, we move on to looking for T statistics equal varium assumed column. The T statistics is 3.806 for 18 degrees of freedom and is found to be significant. Also, we can look into the CI levels. The value of CI complements the test of significance. In CI, the value should not be 0. We can see the CI ranges from 0.582 to 2.018 and it does not contain 0. So we can confidently say that there is significant difference in attitude of 2 groups. Therefore, as significance value P is less than 0.05, we can reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is significant difference in attitude based on gender. Further, mean of male is 1.30 times greater than female. Now, let us move on to packed sample t-test. A packed sample t-test compares 2 sample means from the same population regarding the same variable at 2 different times, such as during a pre-test and post-test, or it compares 2 sample means from different population whose members have been matched to determine whether the difference between the 2 means is statistically significant or occurred by chance alone. Now, for example, an instructor wants to know if the marks of students have increased after rigorous coaching. Here, the pre-coaching marks and post-coaching marks will be tested to check if there is significant difference in their marks after coaching. The formula for PAT t-test is given below. And moving to the assumptions, the PAT sample t-test has 4 main assumptions. Number 1, dependent variable must be continuous. The observations are independent of one another, and dependent variable should be approximately normally distributed, and finally the dependent variable should not contain any outliers. The data required for this test is the data of variables should be in interval or ratio scale. Now the procedure for doing it in SPSS, from the menu choose Analyze, Compare Means, PAT sample t-test. Select the test pass and then click OK. Now let us move on to PAT sample t-test using SPSS practically. Consider this example. A research team wants to test whether the preference for leadership training varies before and after attending the training. We will use PAT sample t-test to determine whether the preferences for leadership training varies before and after the training. The research question is there any improvement in performance before and after the leadership training? The null hypothesis is there is no significant improvement in performance before and after the leadership training. Now let's use the same sample file dataset for small sample test.sav. Go to Analyze, Compare Means and PAT sample t-test. Select test pass, variable 1 as satisfaction before training or preference before training, and variable 2 as preference after training. Then click OK. The result will be displayed in the output screen of SPSS, which is as follows. The results and inference. The first table, titled PAT sample statistics, is where SPSS statistics has generated descriptive statistics for the variables. From this table, it is inferred that there is a difference in mean of satisfaction or preference before training, which is 2.30, and satisfaction after training, which is 3.85. From the PAT sample correlation table, it can be inferred that the relationship between PAT samples, that is preference before training and after training, is positive and significant at 5% level, which means p-value is less than 0.05. The PAT sample t-test is where the results of the dependent t-test are presented. From this table, it is found that t is equal to -6.94 and p-value is less than 0.05. It is important to note that we should not mention p is equal to 0.000, though SPSS output shows the same. Instead, better let us show it as p is less than 0.05. Now, due to the means of the PAT variables, that is the preference before and after training, and the direction of the t value, we can conclude that there is statistically significant improvement among the trainees after the leadership program. Therefore, we can reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is significant improvement in performance before and after training. Let's now move on to one-way ANOVA test. The one-way analysis of variance is used to determine whether there are any statistically significant differences between the means of 2 or more independent groups. It is used when there are a minimum of 3 categories rather than 2 categories. If it's 2 categories, we normally use independent sample t-test. Let's move on to the example. A research team wants to test if awareness level towards taxes varies based on locality such as urban, rural and semi-urban. Now, this is the formula for one-way ANOVA. Moving on to conditions or assumptions, the results of one-way ANOVA can be considered reliable as long as the following assumptions are met. Number 1, the response variable residuals are normally distributed, and variance of populations are equal, and responses for a given group are independent and identically distributed normal random variables. The data required is the data of variables should be in ordinal and scale form. The procedure for doing it using SPSS, from the menu choose Analyze, Compare Means, one-way ANOVA. Select the dependent variable and select the factor variable, that is the categorical variable, and then click OK. Now let us perform one-way ANOVA test using SPSS practically. The example is a research team wants to test whether there is any significant difference in the total units of output produced based on the age of the employees. In our example, we have classified the age of the employees into 3 groups encoded as 1, 2 and 3. So there are 3 groups. We use one-way ANOVA. We will use one-way ANOVA test to determine whether there is any difference in the total units of output produced based on the age of the employees. The hypothesis, null form, there is no significant difference in total units produced based on the age of the employee. Let us use the same sample file, dataset for small sample test. Go to Analyze, Compare Means, one-way ANOVA. Select the dependent variable, that is the output in units, and the grouping variable as age. Click the Options menu and select Descriptives to view the descriptive statistics of the data. Then click Continue and click OK for the results. The results will be displayed in the output screen of SPSS, which is as follows. The results and inference. The descriptive table provide some very useful descriptive statistics, including the mean, standard deviation and 95% confidence interval for the dependent variable. The ANOVA table shows the output of the ANOVA analysis and whether there is statistically significant difference between our group means, that is output in units produced by the employees, and the age group they belong to. We can see that the F statistics is 8.24, which is the significance value, and the P is 0.003, which is below 0.05. Therefore, it can be interpreted that there is significant difference in the total units of output produced by the employees based on their age group. Hence, we reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is significant difference in total units of output produced based on the age of the employees. Further, from the mean values, we can conclude that respondents in age group of 31 to 40 years produce more than other age groups. Now, the final test is correlation coefficient. The Pearson's correlation coefficient is a measure of the strength and direction of a relationship that exists between two variables measured on at least an interval scale. A Pearson's correlation attempts to draw a line of best fit through the data of two variables, and the Pearson's correlation coefficient R indicates how far away all these data points are from this line of best fit. The example, Pearson's correlation can be used to understand whether there is a relationship between exam performance and time spent in revising. Also, if to find out if there is any relationship between depression and length of unemployment. Now, moving on to the formula, you can see the Pearson's correlation coefficient can be calculated using the given formula. The conditions or assumptions is given below. Variables should be in interval or ratio form. The variables are assumed to have a linear relationship between the both, and there should be no outliers in the data, and the data should be normally distributed. The data requirement for this test is the data of variables should be in interval or ratio scale. Procedure using SPSS. From the menu, choose Analyze, Correlate and Bivariate. Select the variables with interval or ratio scale and select the correlation coefficient as Pearson, then click OK. You will get the results in correlation table. Now let us practically see the correlation coefficient test using SPSS. A research team wants to test whether there is relationship between attitude of employee towards the company and the overall job satisfaction level. We will use Pearson's correlation coefficient to find this relationship. The research question is there any relationship existing between the attitude of employees towards the company and the overall job satisfaction level? The null hypothesis is there is no significant relationship existing between the attitude of employee towards the company and the overall job satisfaction. Let us now use the sample file data and ANOVA.sav. Go to Analyze, Correlate and Bivariate. Select the variables, attitude of the employee towards the company and overall satisfaction level. Check whether the correlation coefficient is Pearson and then click OK. The result will be displayed in the output screen of SPSS, which will be as follows. The results and inference for this test. The Pearson's correlation was run to determine the relationship between attitude and job satisfaction, and the results are presented in matrix form. From the results, it is found that positive correlation exists between attitude and job satisfaction, and it was found to be statistically significant at 5% level, and the correlation value is found to be 0.735. Therefore, null hypothesis is rejected, and it is implied that there is significant relationship existing between the attitude of the employee towards a company and overall job satisfaction level. To conclude, test of significance for small sample includes one sample t-test, independent sample t-test, path test, ANOVA and correlation coefficient. Small sample test is used where n is less than 30 and uses t-distribution instead of normal distribution in most cases. However, the t-distribution is quite robust and small deviations from normality in the population will not invalidate it. Thank you. Happy learning.